Yo, what's good, y'all? So a lot of you might be thinking, might be looking at the title and like just be confused, like genuinely confused. So I'll tell you what happened, okay? So basically, like I told yesterday, I was prepping for the KOI, right? And I was like, okay, I think I'm pretty ready. I'm ready to solve around two questions, maybe two and a half questions for the programming problems. And I'm hoping I can get around half marks on the first section of the exam, and that would place me theoretically, or hopefully, around the silver medal, or like the anywhere between bronze and gold. And I want at least bronze and that's all I need because it's the preliminary round. I just have to go make my way to the second stage, which will be my main event, like the main event for me. And so I participated online. It's an online competition, but you have to have your camera on and everything, so it's really strict. It's harder to cheat, right? And I got all that set up, and the contest is supposed to start at the 2 hour mark. And at the 1 hour 50 mark, suddenly like some kids have issues like logging in. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad I'm not one of them. But also I think that the competition might be delayed a bit. And that happened. It was delayed by 30 minutes, all right? At the end of 30 minutes, a lot of people were getting logged in, but some people weren't, so they delayed it another 30 minutes. No, 20-ish minutes. So at 2:52, around 2:50, okay, at exactly 2:52, the contest started. I got in the testing website, and I clicked on the first problem, but it crashed, and I got like kicked out of the server or the website. Now, apparently, some kids got in and read the problems. In fact, if you go in right now, you can read the problems. So here's the funny thing. Some people made it inside the website and could read the problems. Some people couldn't, and the timer was still going. So, and everyone was having login issues, and they told us to wait for another 1 hour-ish time period. And I was like, damn, this contest is fucked, because you already have your problems like exposed. They've been leaked. There's this whole server issue. So yeah, and at the very end, they told us that the contest will be delayed by 3 weeks, 3 weeks, and that you're able to get your ticket refunded, or yeah, your participation fee refunded. Personally, I'm not going to refund, probably. Since I have another 3 weeks to prepare, it's not exactly a good thing. I'll explain why in a bit, but for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to study real hard. Try to prep for the second competition, and through doing that, there's a higher chance I'll get all three questions right on the first exam, which would stably put me in the gold prize area. Unless the exam's super easy, which I assume it won't be. And now I'll explain the problem and where I'm advantaged and where I'm disadvantaged in because of this. The part I'm advantaged in is that I can prep longer, and I'm at the level where if I study for around another 3 weeks hard, there's a pretty high chance I'll be able to solve all three. Because a lot of kids are in the state that even if they study hard for 3 weeks, there's a low chance that they'll get all three right. So that's the good part for me. So relatively, I have an advantage on that aspect. Plus, if it's 3 weeks later, in South Korea we have something called all countries have midterms, but in South Korea midterms and finals are super competitive, and if you get a low mark, you're fucked. Thankfully, our school uses an absolute grading system. So if you get over a certain score, you pass, and if you don't, you fail. Or it's an A, B, C, D, F grade. And our school's tests aren't that hard. I'm in a certain department of our school that specializes in international affairs and international college admission. So we follow the average American exam policies and so on. Meanwhile, the other department of our school that includes around 80% of the students, and also all of the other schools in South Korea, almost all, use a relative grading system. So it's not that like you can cram it. Everyone's like studying for like months before the exam, and you got a top score to get an A. A's are given to approximately 4% of all students, and that's really, really competitive. And these good kids, especially people that participate in the KOI, they're not stupid. They're usually pretty smart and they want to excel in school as well. Like this is sort of a side quest for them. And even though the people that do this as side quests are probably worse than me because I spend a lot of time on this. In fact, that's the truth. It's impossible to be good at competitive programming while studying and prepping for your midterms and finals. And I'm ranked pretty high. I know a few kids that are better than me around my age, but they're participating in schools where midterms and finals are also important. But here's the thing: if it's delayed by 3 weeks, and since there's a refund policy, a lot of kids are gonna leave. They won't take part in the exam, or maybe they'll just participate, but they won't prep more. Now, I expect them to refund and just like let go of this and like not get stressed out by this because I would do that if I was not that good at competitive programming and I had to take care of my finals, and I assume that most kids will. Then what happens is since there's less participants, less bad participants, and the pool of participants is now filled with pretty decent competitors, then it's way harder to get a medal or even pass because it's relative. I mean, yeah, the rewarding system and the preliminary round is relative. So only like 17%, I think, 15% get past the preliminaries. Usually that would be super easy for me, but it gets slightly harder. But the good part, once again, is that I'll prep for another 3 weeks, so there's a higher chance I'll make it. So I have my disadvantages, I have my advantages. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm guessing that a lot of people, especially those in the average Korean high school, are pretty mad because they wanted to do this. They prepped hard, but now they probably can't because they have midterm. I mean, they have finals. So yeah, KOI kind of rage baited us this time. They might get sued. I don't think they will, but if a person that was trying to participate in the KOI cannot because the new date overlaps with another important date, I think there will be a lot of clashes. There will be a lot of those cases. In fact, I have another contest during August, but if the second main round also gets delayed because the first round, preliminary round, was delayed, then there's a high chance that it might overlap. I also have SATs during August, so I have to watch out for that. So good things happen, bad things happen. This just happened. It's not like I'm mad at them or anything. I am partially mad. I mean, I'm just disappointed. But it's understandable. Server managing is probably really hard, especially when it's a huge programming contest where there's a lot of compilations going on. Yeah, I do understand that part, especially because you have to stream. Like that's the difference between Coforces and this KOI, because KOI can handle a lot more users because all they're doing is the servers computing, and the servers are pretty slow. But for KOI, you need fast servers, you need fast grading, and you also need to share your screen. All participants have to share their screen, which is another problem. It's a problem adding on another dimension. So I understand. Slightly disappointed, but we'll see how it goes. And I'll be trying to post way more streams, studying way harder. I won't be focusing too much on studying the math problems. I'll just be focusing my studies on programming and getting that third problem and getting a full mark on the second stage of the preliminary round. And yeah, we'll see how it goes, and I'll see you in the next problem.